Les is in Alton this afternoon. Hi, Les.
Hi.
Now, you've got a recurring, not dream, but nightmare.
It's a nightmare,
Yeah.
and it's been a mystery for me for 60 years, so I do sincerely hope that Ian can solve this problem of mine.
Yeah.
Basically, I didn't have a good childhood, okay, and so this has probably got something to do with it. And as far back as I can remember, I had this reoccurring nightmare. A huge room, white walls, no windows, no natural light coming in, a very, very, very small door at the far end, and I was in proportion to the door, but absolutely minuscule in comparison to the room. And through the door would come cardboard boxes, and as they got squashed through, they'd explode my side. Cutting a long story short, the end of the nightmare, the room would be chock-a-block full. I'd be suffocating, and I'd wake up yelling, screaming, and dripping in sweat. Now, I had that dream from as way back as I can remember until I was 13 years old. Right? And I'd have that a nightmare maybe 3 or 4 times a week, every week. Right? And then at 13, I was sent away to boarding school. And I was terrified because bedwetting had come into it and all sorts of things then, and I thought, oh, this is going to be terrible. I was there for 3.5 years, and I did rebel, so it wasn't a good time, and I didn't have the nightmare once, not once, and nor did I wet any beds or anything like that. Then, when I came out of boarding school, I was about 17. And I was admitted to hospital where I remained for 11 months. And I was in an awful lot of pain in the initial stages, and I was going in and out of consciousness. Every single solitary time I went into that sort of coma, maybe, I don't know, I lost count, maybe 10, 11, 12 times a day, I had that same nightmare. And that carried on for about 2 months. I was in hospital for a total of 11. So as I started getting better, so they started getting less and less. I came out of hospital when I was 18, and now I'm 67, and I have not had that nightmare since. Please, can you solve my...
What an amazing story. Ian, it's all yours.
That's an incredible story, Les, and thanks for sharing that with us. So, when we dream of a room, Les, we're dreaming of part of ourselves. So the fact that you're in this big room with a tiny door, that kind of reflects the fact that your childhood was probably quite unhappy, because inside you were a big person full of hopes and you had all these aspirations, but you couldn't show it to anyone. You couldn't show it to the outside world. You couldn't show it to the people who were bringing you up or trying to look after you. So as a child, you were probably very, very private and didn't give much away. And the fact that the room is all white, there's no colour there, so your childhood didn't have much colour in it. There's no windows, there's nothing to look out on, there's nothing to look forward to. It's all quite artificial. You've been brought up in a kind of artificial way. And then these boxes that have been pushed through the door, anytime we dream of an explosion, it's about something sudden and unexpected that's going to happen to us. So growing up as a child, you probably had lots of things that were unexpected or surprising to you, and you just didn't really enjoy it. It was a very, very unpleasant experience. And all these things that kept happening, bad things happening one after another, just kept building up and building up till it just really traumatized you, and you just felt really, really terrorized. So then you manage to escape from that room and you go to boarding school, and because you're in a different environment and it's maybe more structured and you're nurtured and cared for more, then the dream goes away. And then when you go into hospital when you're 17, you have the same feeling that you did when you were younger, before 13. You have that feeling of not being in control. You have to retreat back inside yourself. You find it difficult to trust people because in some ways you're at their mercy. And then as you get better and get stronger and healthier and fitter, then you feel more and more in control of yourself. So that dream, which is all about losing control and not being in control of what's going on to you, it just fades away. And then as you've grown up into adulthood and matured and you have control of your life, then you just don't have that dream anymore.
Well, what you said there, Ian, you've touched a lot of buttons, and I think you're pretty accurate, and I'd like to thank you very much for that.
And thank you for sharing that with us, Les.
Brilliant, Les.
you.
Thanks
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Have a great week.
Thank you.
Ta-da, mate. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Les from Walton there. Ian Wallace is our dream expert this afternoon on the Mike Powell programme, BBC Radio. Loads of you getting in contact with Ian. We'll get to some more of your queries, some more of your dreams and nightmares as well in a moment.